There's a window in a forgotten village, and they say, once you look through it, starts looking back at you. What lies beyond is not the graveyard, but something that writes your fate. Tonight here, the true story of the window of death. In 2007, a chilling incident unfolded in a remote village of Barisal, Bangladesh. A story that still echoes in the whispers of the villagers. The village named Ramchandrupa lies deep within the southern part of Bola, district surrounded by quiet rivers and silence so thick that even electricity visited only occasionally. When night fell, darkness consumed everything. You couldn't see your own fingers if you stretched your hand out. In this village stood an old two-story wooden house, rusted tin roof, faded walls, and beside it, a massive ancient banyan tree. The house belonged to Muhammad Siddiqur Rahman, a well-respected high school teacher. On the upper floor of this house was a small room, simple and quiet, with a single wooden window that faced the village's oldest graveyard. Everyone in the village called that window the window of death. No one knew exactly when the name was first uttered, but villagers swore that once every few years, someone would see a woman in a white sari sitting silently by that window. Her face was always covered. She had no visible eyes. Some said she wasn't alive, that her presence came from beyond the grave. Superstition had it that anyone who spent time near that window would soon fall ill, go mad, or die under mysterious circumstances. But Siddiqur didn't believe such tales. A man of books and education, he laughed off these ghost stories. The future, he used to say, depends on learning, not on phantoms. That winter, however, something happened that shook even his scientific mind. One of his relatives, a young man named Mammon, came visiting from Dhaka. Since the house was full, Siddiqur let Mammon stay in the upper room, the one with the window. That very night around 2 a.m. loud screams woke the household. They rushed upstairs to find Mammon running downstairs, face bruised and terror-stricken. He kept mumbling, "Someone was sitting by the window. She had no eyes. She was looking right at me." Mammon left early the next morning, visibly shaken. 3 days later, news came from Dhaka. Mammon had died of a sudden heart attack. The villagers fell into an eerie silence. Once again, the window of death had claimed another. The room was locked, immediately left untouched. But some months later, Siddiqur had a dream. A vivid nightmare where a voice called him from the other side of the window. "Teacher, write our story or be written into it," said. Terrified and sweating, Siddiqur woke up and found himself standing before the very window. Drawn by an invisible pull, he opened it. Fog from the graveyard outside floated in like ghostly fingers. There, beneath the banyan tree, stood a figure draped in white. It had no face. The sari fluttered, yet the air was still. Time seemed to freeze. The leaves on the trees stopped moving. Behind him, he felt someone breathe on the back of his neck. He didn't know how long he stared, but that gaze, hollow, infinite, started to melt something inside him. He stopped speaking. Day by day, he grew quieter. He sat near the window, scribbling obsessively in a notebook, refusing to eat with others. His hands trembled constantly, and his eyes sometimes leaked strange red fluid. At night he screamed in his sleep, whispering, "She asked me to look. She asked me to write." 3 weeks later, he had a stroke and died. After his funeral, the family began cleaning out the locked room. In the corner, they found his notebook. Page after page were filled with disturbing lines. "I'm watching you, saw me now, you must write, I am waiting for someone." The final page held just one line in jagged handwriting. "Whoever looks through the window of death never sees with their own eyes again." The family sealed the window with bricks and cement. The door was bolted shut forever. But still, on certain nights, villagers claimed to see a shadow against the wall, and hear a soft female voice from the graveyard saying, "Another Onai, need another one for my story." Birds don't sing around the house anymore. Dogs whimper and howl in front of the wall. Sometimes, they say, red stains appear beneath the bricked-up window, stains that vanish by dawn. Now, the children of Ramchandrupa rush home before sunset. Elders warn in hushed voices, "Never look at that window, because the window might already be looking at you." And they say that the next person who dares to gaze through it, their story's last line is already written, waiting on a blank page in that cursed diary, needing only a drop of ink.